Hi everybody, this is lesson number 2. Today we are going to read and listen to a story, The Fall of a Mayan City. For this, open your books at page 72-73. Look at the pictures and what kind of places do you see? What animals do you see? What do you have in your mind? Okay, it's rainforest, and these are Maya people and some animals that live in the rainforest. So, what happened in the story? Let's find it out. Let's listen.
The Fall of a Mayan City. The Mayan king looked down at the city from his palace. He felt very sad. He could remember the brightly colored pyramids and temples, the exotic gardens full of jaguars, pumas and parrots, and the buzzing street markets with delicious food from all over his empire. It was one of the great wonders of the world. But now the city was silent and empty. And why was this? Many years before, when the king was looking for somewhere to live, he saw a big, beautiful ceiba tree in the heart of the tropical rainforest. He decided that it was the perfect place to make his home. Just as he was about to leave, an old man appeared from behind the tree. "We have always looked after the rainforest, and you must too," he said. "Don't chop down the trees. Build your city somewhere else." And he disappeared into the forest again. But the king ignored the old man's advice. "He's just a crazy old man," he thought to himself, and he built his city nearby. As the king and his people became richer and more powerful, the city grew and grew. People needed more space to build their houses and grow their corn. So they chopped down more and more trees from the rainforest. Everything seemed perfect, until one day things started to change. At first, it didn't rain as much as it usually did, and the rivers became smaller and smaller. Then it stopped raining, and the rivers dried up. The corn in the fields and the vegetables in the gardens dried up too. With little food and water, the people started to leave the city. The king was very worried. "What can I do?" he asked his advisors. None of them could give him an answer. Then he remembered the old man he met in the forest. He went back and looked for the tall ceiba tree. Eventually he found it, but now it was standing alone in the middle of a desert. He sat under its branches in the shade. Suddenly, the same old man came out from behind the tree. "Look what you've done," said the old man. The king fell to his knees and asked, "Please tell me, what should I do?" "Well, there is a solution, but it will take many, many years," the old man said. This time, the king listened carefully to every word. "If you plant 2 trees for every one you chop down, then maybe the rain will return, and maybe the rivers, the plants, the birds and the animals will come back," the old man said, and suddenly disappeared just like before. Quickly, the king ordered his people to plant trees where there was now desert. Slowly but surely, as the years passed, the trees grew the rain came back and the rainforest filled with life again. First the animals and birds returned, and then the people. The king was delighted. Before he died, he made sure that the ceiba tree was always protected, so that his people would look after the rainforest.
Okay, that's it. Now let's talk about the questions. Look at question 1. What happened in the story when the people cut down too many trees in the rainforest? And why did this happen? How did they fix the problem? Do you think the king was responsible for what happened? So now pause the video and think about the questions. Okay, let's compare our answers. Question 1. When the trees were cut down, there wasn't as much rain, the rivers became smaller, it stopped raining, and the water dried up. The vegetables stopped growing and the people started to live. Question 2. How did they fix the problem? They stopped cutting down trees and started planting new ones. And question number 3, say what you think about the king. Was he a good man or a bad man? What do you think? So in this lesson you have to memorize some of the vocabulary. Let's highlight them. These words: pyramids, temples, jaguars, pumas, parrots, buzzing street markets, silent, and so appeared, disappeared, chopped down, eventually, protected. Please write down these words into your notebooks, translate them, try to find the definitions, and memorize them. So for more practice, go to your activity book. So page 72, read the codex, write a sentence next to each picture to tell the story. This will be your homework. See you soon!